All right, so let's go over your questions real quick. Where was I when the attacks occurred? I was still in bed. I worked late, like to 2 a.m. the night before in dispatch. And I was home in bed. And how did I find out? My dad called a couple of times and woke me up. And then I got up and I think after the second plane had hit was when I got to the TV. And then as soon as I saw the second plane had hit the building and the Pentagon, then I took a shower and got ready to go to work. Did you know anyone? Not directly. I have a lot of friends who lived in D.C. and New York that are now friends of mine. I've met many of the telecommunicators who were working dispatch that day, which is interesting. And I know a lot of people who went to Ground Zero to work after the event because they had people from all across the United States to show up, particularly Ground Zero for months and months on end. I visited Ground Zero, yes, several times. I've been in New York several times. I don't go to New York without visiting Ground Zero. I think it's that important. In a city that large, to find something that quiet and reserved and reverent, I think it's important to make sure that I do everything I can to go there. Same holds true for the Pentagon. Going to D.C., I try to go to the Pentagon each time I'm there. Sometimes I don't make it. Sometimes I go to the Pentagon. Sometimes I go to Arlington. Just kind of depends. Do you ever relive the feelings from that day? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Not particularly the fear and the anger, but definitely some emotional pieces of that. And the next question was, do emotions come up when I watch videos and articles? Absolutely, they do, and that's the reason I watch them, because I want to. I guess it answers the first question. I do want to relive those feelings. I want to remember what it was like, what we had before that, and more important, what we had the next day as a nation, which was unity, complete unity. To watch a city of 8 million people would be evacuated basically was impactful. But to see them turn right around, come back the next day and start working, that's heroic. That's heroic. Should we talk about an anniversary? I absolutely believe this 100% every single year. On 9/11, D-Day, Pearl Harbor, those sort of things, we need to remember what happened, because those are sacrifices made by people, many times civilians, many times military, many times public safety, and we honor them by remembering what occurred and to understand how do we get to that point and how do we not get there again. Did we respond effectively? Yeah. Sure enough did. Being in public safety during that time frame. Yeah. That was a pretty amazing time to live. On the public safety stand front, it was, people think about 9/11 and Ground Zero, but they don't also realize what all occurred across the entire nation. To look up in the sky and not see any aircraft flying. It's humbling. To know that every day law enforcement officers came to work and they're that much more prepared for some major incident, because we had no idea what was next. None. We thought universities could be attacked. We thought there might be incursions across the borders. We thought there could be bombs and stuff. The idea of IEDs being in our schools. We lived that every single shift. So yeah, militarily, I believe we did as well. People can argue about going to Iraq, going to Afghanistan, etc. But that's where Al-Qaeda's at. That's where they hide because they know we won't come there. Do I think we got sidetracked with some things? Absolutely. What we've done differently, well, I'm not president, so they have more information than we ever will. But I would say that there's a lot of people on the news and pundits and people with opinions. It doesn't matter what their opinion is. They don't have all the facts. They don't have all the information. Only our leaders do. and we hire them by election to take care of us and to ensure that they make the right choices. There's a lot of conversation about, well, they didn't find any weapons of mass destruction, WMDs. Saddam didn't have WMDs. Yeah, he did. It was called his military force. He was killing the Kurds by the tens of thousands. That's a WMD. Just because it's not sarin gas, just because it's not a nuclear weapon, doesn't mean it doesn't kill tens of thousands of people. So yeah, in the process of eradicating evil, we took out a bad guy too. Last couple of questions. What roles do we have as far as air travel for public safety, the air marshals, the public itself? We play a big role, and the role is to not be complacent. I think TSA does a great job. I travel and fly a lot, probably just about as much as anybody else in this community. I never have any issues. I'm always respectful to them. They're respectful to me. Whatever. But at the end of the day, if something occurs on an aircraft, it's just like going down a sinking boat. Everybody's in it, or everybody dies. So my thought process is we learn as Americans that if something happens on an aircraft, we can't rely just on the flight attendants to take care of business. We have to jump in there. And it's exactly what happened with Flight 93. Most likely saved our entire governmental structure. Because of Congress in session, if the plane hit the Capitol, senators, congressmen, aides, people, it had been terrifying, horrific. What changed in America? Or what do we continue? How do we continue? We go about our business. We don't stop. We just keep going. Stu. What changed in America? Our mindset. We stopped focusing on stupid crap and started focusing on what was important. The most emotional moment was probably for me when it was just off the cuff comments by President Bush, standing on the rubble, standing on the pile of rubble at World Trade Center, and said, somebody hollered out, "We can't hear you, Mr. President." And he hollered out, he said, "I hear you. And the folks who knocked these buildings down are going to hear from us real soon." That's leadership. That's leadership in crisis. That's what changed. The next day, you could not buy an American flag for weeks because they were all being bought and being put up on people's houses. We are one nation, indivisible. And we were about ready to go out and whoop somebody's butt. Thoughts on killing Osama bin Laden? Should have happened quicker. Very difficult to find because they don't use technology. We're not used to tracking people who don't use technology. It was a very difficult arrangement. I don't know if there are other opportunities to kill him or not. Killing him has political ramifications. Cool. But there were a lot of other people who were doing extremely bad things in Al-Qaeda that we took out. Some within borders of countries that are friends of ours, Pakistan. Some inside of our borders, Afghanistan, the mountains in Iraq. Some in Syria, which is not a friend of ours. So there will be some hard decisions made there. At the end of the day, we told everybody, we're going to get them wherever they're at. Because it's not a nation state. So, lastly, lessons learned on 9/11. Don't take anything for granted. Because you can wake up on any given Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or a beautiful, clear Tuesday morning and your world will change forever. This is the first election in U.S. history to where people will be voting for our national president, the most powerful country in the world, that didn't live through 9/11. And the mindset has crept back in. The complacency, the needy, I must have everything mindset, selfish mindset has crept back in. And when that happens, we're ripe for rot. And so people who've lived through 9/11, you won't find them folks out there asking for more. After 9/11, we learned the lessons of being self-reliant, self-disciplined, and we also learned lessons of taking care of each other. Public safety, communities took care of public safety, posted took care of the communities, everybody took care of the military. We lost a lot of good people in the military as well as citizens, but at the end of the day, At the end of the day, it did more for our country than hurt us. It's almost like getting a inoculation, right? You get a shot in the arm and it hurts. And it may swell and cramp for a couple of days. You may even get a fever. But it's protected you from getting extremely sick later on and possibly dying. And so 9/12 was the lesson that we learned. 9/11 just happened to be the inoculation. We've forgotten that lesson. And we haven't done a good job of teaching it to our children. So that's why it's important for me to teach it to my children, including you. And that includes the lessons of all wars. That's why on Memorial Day we watch war movies. That's why on 9/11 we typically watch something about 9/11. That's why on D-Day I usually watch D-Day. Because it's important for me to remind me how fortunate I am. Because I don't deserve any of this life here in America. It's just important to me that I go home and I live my life to honor those who can't. And I try to make this community a better place. All right. Thanks for the opportunity. It's a really important topic to me. And I was happy to be able to share visiting Ground Zero with both my children. Because it's an amazing experience. So, thanks.